पीयर पॉलीएव ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਆਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਹੈ, ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਲੀਡਰ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਚਨਰ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਮੀਟ ਐਂਡ ਗ੍ਰੀਟ ਕੀਤੀ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕਿ ਅਨੋਖੀ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਕਿਚਨਰ, ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੀਟ ਐਂਡ ਗ੍ਰੀਟ ਹੋਈ ਔਰ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਫਰੈਂਡਸ ਔਰ ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਲੀਡਰ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ, ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਦੱਸੇ, ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਦੱਸੇ ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਮੈਂ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਬਣਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਔਨਗੋਇੰਗ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਆ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਰਿਜ਼ੋਲਵ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਲਾਨ ਕੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਅਨੋਖੀ ਦੇ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਓਨਰ ਹੈ ਪਰਮਿੰਦਰ ਗਿੱਲ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਥੈਂਕਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਸਟਿੰਗ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ, ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸ਼ੈਫਸ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟਸ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਮੈਨ ਪਾਵਰ ਦੀ ਕਮੀ ਹੈ, ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਕਮੀ ਹੈ, ਮੈਨ ਪਾਵਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਸ਼ੈਫਸ ਔਰ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਬੜੇ ਸਫਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ, ਇਹਨਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਵੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ। ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਖਾਸ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਪੀਅਰ ਪੋਲੀਵਰ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿਚਨਰ ਦੌਰਾ ਔਰ ਅਨੋਖੀ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੀਟ ਐਂਡ ਗ੍ਰੀਟ ਹੋਇਆ।
Great to have him and all of you here today to talk about how we need to bring it home. You know, people feel like they've been losing control of their lives in this country. After 8 years of Justin Trudeau, inflation is at a 40-year high. In Vancouver today, it just came out, it takes 17 years to save for a down payment on the most basic house. 17 years! You start when you're 25, you get in your 40s. Too old for many women to actually have kids. So it basically destroys family life. This has led to despair. 30,000 people have died of drug overdoses under Justin Trudeau. And now his solution to that is to legalize heroin, crack, cocaine. Just yesterday, it came out that the federal government, the Trudeau government, gave a permit to a corporation to sell cocaine. And it only took 2 months. You can get a permit to sell cocaine faster than you can get a passport in Justin Trudeau's Canada. That's the reality. People feel like they're losing control of their lives. I'm running for Prime Minister to put people back in charge of their lives by making Canada the freest nation on earth. And what does that mean? Well, first of all, we have to cap government spending so that we can end the inflationary deficits and taxes. Too many dollars chasing too few goods equals higher prices. $500 billion going out to bid up the cost of the food we buy, the homes we live in, bids up the costs, and then drives up interest rates even further. The only way to bring inflation and interest rates down is to stop the inflationary deficits that are driving both of them up. I'll cap government spending with a law that requires politicians find $1 of savings for every new dollar of spending. Just like you run your household. If you want to spend more of this in this area, you have to spend less in that area so that you break it out. Or you have to find a bargain on both. He spends $1,400 in federal taxes just to fund consultants in the federal government. $22 billion of annual spending on consultants alone by the federal government. That means divide that by the 15 million families in Canada. That's $1,400. Can you imagine that? You're spending $1,400 on consultants in Ottawa. I will be firing the high-priced consultants. We have a big bureaucracy. Our public servants should be doing the work. We shouldn't be contracting out for $3,000 or $4,000 a day to individual consultants to do things that could be done in-house at a lower price and at a higher quality. We're going to fire the consultants. We're going to cut the waste. We're going to cap the spending. We're going to get rid of the deficits. And then we're going to get rid of the carbon tax to lower your gas, heat, and grocery bills. We know that if you raise the price of fuel, you raise the price of everything that has to be shipped. No wonder everything is so expensive. We'll get rid of those taxes and lower the burden on our people. Finally, we're going to make this a country where work pays again. Okay, right now it doesn't pay to work. You'll get an extra, I was talking to a waitress the other day. She got an extra job. So her gross income went from $45K to $60K. But by the time they clawed back her child benefit, and charged her more income tax, payroll tax, gas tax, and carbon tax to drive to work, she's keeping maybe 30 cents on the dollar. And so basically she's keeping maybe $6 of her $20 or $25 an hour wage. Nobody can work for that. Wonder why we don't have enough workers? We punish work. It doesn't pay to work and put in the extra effort in this country anymore. So a Poilivere government is going to reform and cut taxes so that people bring home more of every single dollar they earn. In other words, we're going to make work pay again in this country. And I will create a special stream of immigration for high-skilled building trades. So we bring in more carpenters, more plumbers, more framers, and more of the tradespeople who actually know how to build houses. We're going to support the trades. Fine, university's great. I got a BA, I went to university. If people want to do that, that's all right. But we should also be telling our young people that they should have the same support if they decide to go into the practical trades. Because we need people with know-how, not just knowledge, but know-how. The people who know how to build stuff, especially build houses. We will build millions of houses, and we will bring home the dream of home ownership once again to this country. Home safety to our communities again. Crime is up, violent crime is up 32% under Justin Trudeau. Gang killings up 92% under Justin Trudeau. This is the country we live in after 8 years of this guy. But why should it be any surprise? He passed laws that allow violent repeat offenders to get released sometimes the same day that they're arrested. Same day bail. Police officers tell me they often arrest the same person 3 times in a day. Why? He gets arrested in the morning for smashing someone's face in. He's out on bail by noon. He goes and robs a bank. He's back in jail. Bail again. He's back out of jail by 3 p.m. And by the evening, he's arrested a 3rd time. You think this is just a fantasy story? I'll tell you the fact. You can look this up. The BC Union of Mayors said the same 40 people were arrested 6,000 times in Vancouver in a year. 40 people, 6,000 arrests. That's 150 arrests per year per person. The solution is simple. If they have a long rap sheet of crime and they get arrested for another violent offense, leave them in jail until such time as their trial is done, and if they're convicted, their sentence is complete. Those 40 people, you just took 40 people off the streets. In Vancouver, you have 6,000 fewer people robbed at gunpoint, smashed in the face, or lit on fire. So let's bring home some common sense and bring home safer streets. And Instead of legalizing, as Trudeau and the NDP want to do, legalizing heroin, crack cocaine, fentanyl, which is killing our people, here's a solution. Why don't we take the money and invest it instead in treatment and recovery so that we can get people off of drugs? They're doing it in Alberta. They've opened 4,000 new spaces for addicts to go in, live in for inpatient, get detox treatment, medications that reduce the pain and suffering of getting off the drugs, get counseling, career training, and set onto a proper path so that they can return to their lives. And how are we going to pay for it? Well, here's a simple solution to that too. We sued the tobacco companies for all the costs they put on our healthcare system back in the 90s, and we got billions of dollars. The pharmaceutical companies that lied to our medical system about the addictiveness and lethality of the opioids that have ravaged North America should be made to pay the price. In the United States of America, the governments have sued and successfully obtained tens of billions of dollars in settlements and awards against those same dirtbag corporations, and they're using it to pay for their recovery and treatment. A Poilivere government is going to sue them into the Stone Age, and we're going to get every single dollar out of them so that they pay to repair the damage they caused, and we use that money to fund the recovery and treatment of our brothers, our sisters, our friends, and neighbors. That's what we're going to do. They came here as doctors. They were allowed in specifically because of their medical qualifications. But then local government gatekeepers prevent them from getting medical licenses because they want to limit the supply of doctors to increase the political power of the existing membership. And that is why right now, today, only 39% of immigrant nurses and only 43% of immigrant doctors are actually allowed to work in their profession. I will sign deals with the provinces to bring in a 60-day rule. Within 60 days of an immigrant applying to work in any profession, they should get a yes or a no based on their tested ability, not based on where they come from. Everyone should meet the same high tested standard, fine. But let's base it on merit, not based on nationality. Secondly, we will back up 30,000 small study loans for immigrants that need to take time off work so they can study up to the Canadian standard in order to get licensed to practice in their field. They did this in Alberta. It was backed up by businesses that signed loan guarantees to help immigrants get that credit. 97% loan repayment rate. And in some cases, people's incomes went up 500 or 600%. Because they went from being a barista or a taxi driver to being a doctor or an engineer. This is the kind of innovative approach we need. And finally, we should create modules so that future immigrants can begin getting their license to practice in Canada before they even arrive here, so that when they arrive, they can immediately go to work as a doctor, an engineer, an architect. It boils my blood to sit in the waiting room with my daughter who's got a migraine headache because there's a doctor shortage or a nursing shortage, knowing that there are so many immigrants that could be helping to reduce that shortage. We're going to remove the gatekeepers and give big, powerful, inflation-proof paychecks to our brilliant immigrants here in this country. It's really about bringing back common sense. Let's make common sense common again. Let's stand up for the common sense of the common people united for a common purpose. And that is a country that works for the people who work. I was born of a 16-year-old unwed mother who put me up for adoption to 2 school teachers. They taught me that it didn't matter where I came from, it mattered where I was going. It didn't matter who I knew, but what I could do. That is the country to which my wife came as a refugee. That is the country that I want my children to inherit. A country where it doesn't matter if your name is Martin or Mohammed, whether it's Tang or Tremblay, whether it's Smith, Singh, or Steinberg. If you're prepared to work hard, follow the rules, contribute to your community, you can get ahead and fulfill your dreams. Let's make it happen. Let's bring it home.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਅੱਜ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਏਸ਼ੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਸੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਕਰਾਊਡ ਦੇਖ ਲਿਆ ਹੋਣਾ ਜੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਨੋਖੀ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿਚਨਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੀ ਸੋ ਉੱਥੇ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੀ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨੇ ਗਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਬਣਨਾ ਜੀ ਸੋ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਬਣਨਾ ਉਹ ਅਨੋਖੀ ਤੇ ਪਰਮਿੰਦਰ ਗਿੱਲ ਭਾਜੀ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਨੇ ਸੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੜਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਡਿਨਰ ਕਰਵਾਇਆ ਸੋ ਲੀਡਰ ਦੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨੀ ਜੀ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਹੱਕ 'ਚ ਹੀ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਸੋ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਰੌਣ ਸ਼ੇਰਾ ਵੀਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਕਿਚਨਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਜੀ ਸੋ
ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੀਅਰ ਪੋਲੀਅਰ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਸਟ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਿਚਨਰ 'ਚ ਤੇ ਸ਼ਾਰਟ ਨੋਟਿਸ ਤੇ ਇਟਸ ਰੀਲੀ ਸ਼ਾਰਟ ਪਰ ਭਾਈ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਨੈਕਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਕੀਤਾ, ਸਾਰਾ ਚਾਹ ਪਾਣੀ ਦਾ ਸੇਵਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਤੇ ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਰੀਲੀ ਵੈਲ, ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਹੈਪੀ ਐਂਡ ਹੀ ਗਾਟ ਟੂ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਿਚਨ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਉਹਨੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੇਖ ਲਿਆ। ਯੂ ਸੀ ਥੈਂਕਸ ਟੂ ਨਿਤਨ ਭਾਜੀ ਫਰਮ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਏਸ਼ੀਆ।
ਇਹ ਬੜੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੇ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਲਿਖੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਇਹ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਗੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ। ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਐਂਡ ਸੈਕੰਡਲੀ ਬੜਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ, ਐਨੀ ਟਾਈਮ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹਾਂ।